All right. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame bante bhuri panya tatakata kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame dhamma sanditika akalika kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame sangha supatipana anuttara sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tisarana gamanang paripunang panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adina dana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Abrahmacharya veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Vikala bhojana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Nacha Gita Wadita Visuka Sana Malaganda Malagana Dharana,
Dilipat. Dharana,
Mandana, Vibhusanatana, Veramani Sikkapadang Samadhiyami. Uchasayana, Mahasayana, Veramani Sikkapadang Samadhiyami. Idang me silang Magapala Nyanasa Pachayo Hotu Appamadena Sampadeta Sa. Right, we'll do a bit of guided metta before we start. All right. Now relax. Relax the body, relax the mind. Let the mind free from all the thinking and planning and thoughts. Just being present here and now. And let the body relax. All the tension and all the tightness, tiredness. Relax from the top of the head. Slowly the forehead, the face and neck, shoulders and arms, to the chest, the stomach area, to the spine, to the buttocks, hips, the thighs and knees, calf, ankles, soles, toes. So relax the body. Keep the mind open, calm and peaceful. May I be free from all kinds of harm and danger. Free from all mental suffering. Free from all physical suffering. May I be peaceful. May I be well. And may I truly be happy. May I be free from all kinds of harm and danger. Free from all mental suffering. Free from all physical suffering. May I be peaceful. May I be well. And may I truly be happy. Now let us expand our metta to all the beings around here. May they be monks or nuns, yogis, helpers, volunteers, workers, donors and supporters, to all the guardian devas of this center, to all other devas residing around here, to all the unseen beings, to all the unfortunate beings, and to all the animals, seen or unseen, big or small. May all of us here be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May I be peaceful. May all of us be peaceful, be well and healthy, and may all of us here truly be happy. May all of us here be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May all here be well, be healthy, be peaceful, and may all of us truly be happy. Now let us expand. Let us expand the metta, reaching out to all the beings in this country. May they be humans or non-humans. May they be devas or petas, animals big or small, far or near, seen or unseen. May all beings in this country be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May all beings be peaceful. May they all be well. And may all beings truly be happy. May all beings in this country be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May all beings in this country, may they all able to live in peace and in harmony. May they all be well and healthy. And may all beings in this country truly be happy. Now let us spread the metta further. Let it spread as far as it can go. To all the beings in this world, seen or unseen. May they be our loved ones near or far away, or those people whom we do not know wherever they are, or to those whom we dislike or those who dislike us. To all the guardian devas of the sasana, to all other devas residing in this world, to all the petas, unfortunate beings, and to all the animals, big or small, far or near, seen or unseen. May all things in this world be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May all beings able to live in peace and not in war, live with kindness and compassion and not in cruelty or violence. May all beings be well, be healthy, and may all beings in this world truly be happy. May all beings in this world, may they all be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May all beings be peaceful. May they all be well. And may all beings truly be happy. Now let us expand. Let us expand the metta to all the beings without exception, without boundary, without condition. To all beings in this universe or universes, to all beings from the highest planes of existence down to the lowest planes of existence. To all beings in all the world systems. May all beings without exception be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May all beings able to live in harmony with themselves and others. May they all be well, be healthy, and may all beings truly be happy. May all beings be free from all kinds of harm and danger, free from all mental suffering, free from all physical suffering. May all beings be peaceful. May they all be well. And may all beings truly be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May they all be well. And may all beings truly be happy. Slowly we let go. Let go of the metta. Bring the mind back again to the body. Feel the rise and fall of the abdomen. Feel the whole body being present here and now. Then slowly we can open our eyes. Right. So today we have a Q&A session. Today not many questions. Okay. Let's see. Question 1. What's the difference between noticing breathing at the nostril and abdomen? Can we still be able to notice the characteristics in both and attain the same results? What's the difference between noticing breathing at the nostril and at abdomen? Can we still be able to notice the characteristics in both and attain the same results? Okay. Now, there's a number of things we need to explain. Theoretically, nostrils and abdomen, you can notice them theoretically, and they give you the same results. Practically, On a certain sense, they give you the same result, certain sense. But on the practical aspect, that's where things becomes a bit more different. Now, in the beginning, in the beginning, as you meditate, and or other words, you are a beginner. If you're a beginner in this meditation, going with the rising and falling, and if you're coming in from anapana, you're coming in from a lot of practice of anapana before in the past, then uh, then it can be a bit of a challenge to change your object from in-breath, out-breath to the rising and falling. It's a bit of a challenge because every time you try to notice the rising and falling, the mind tends to go back to the nostril, to the in-breath, out-breath. So that is one big thing. It's not easy for the mind to change from in-breath, out-breath to rising and falling. But it can be done. It can be done like some of us here also in the past did in-breath, out-breath. And here we just need to make an effort. Make an effort that, or the awareness or the mindfulness to every time bring it back to the rising and falling. Yeah. Just bring back the attention to the rising and falling. You will go back again, then it will come back to the rising and then pull it back to the rising and falling again. Yeah. So if you do that, then sooner or later, then the mind becomes more attentive to the rising and falling, and slowly, slowly it let go of the in-breath and out-breath. So that is one thing, especially if you come to the this type of method, the Mahasi method. So in the sitting, you are required to notice the primary object of this rising and falling of the abdomen. So this is the first thing. Second thing, between this nostril and the abdomen. The second thing is the way you pay attention to the nostril. Because if you coming in from samatha background, and if you are doing in-breath, out-breath, your mind is conditioned to notice the in-breath and out-breath in a certain manner, not the manner of vipassana. So therefore, if you are familiar with the in-breath and out-breath, and you have done, let's say, a number of retreats in the this in-breath and out-breath, then what will happen is that every time you touch on the in-breath and out-breath, automatically the mind will go into that way of noting an object. That is to say, for example, you are supposed to, let's say in the vipassana, you're supposed to watch the characteristic, how it changes, whether long, short, fast, from fast it goes to short, short go to fast again, how it changes here and there. Yeah. So you are supposed to notice those things in the vipassana. But in the samatha meditation, the nostril, we don't notice the changes. We notice the characteristic, but minus the changes. Because the characteristic of the in-breath, out-breath is still a movement of an object. But your job here is just to notice in, out, in, out, in, out. Sometimes you notice a bit longer in, a bit longer out. Sometimes a bit shorter in, shorter out. You don't go and look for how the in-breath, out-breath changing. If you are doing samatha, you don't look at how the in-breath, out-breath changing. You just take in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath. You're not required to see how they change. You're not required to see how the mind how the noting mind that is noting the in-breath, out-breath. You're not required to do that in the samatha. Yeah. So your job is just to note in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath, until the mind begins to calm down. And then when it's calmed down, it became more peaceful. And then that the distraction of the distraction, thoughts, and so on begin lessen. Yeah? Uh, something like that. Something like this. So with that, now, let's say you come over to Mahasi method. Then you're going to bring the same habit going to the in when you use the in breath, out breath. Yeah. You thought that sometimes some yogis thought that after all they are all the same. Well, but they are not the same. Not the same way of how you pay attention to an object. Now, so in the in breath, out breath, yeah. Now in the in breath, out breath, all you need to do is just pay attention to it. You ignore the sound, you ignore external things, you just ignore everything. There's only one object for you only. In breath, out breath. Whereas when it comes to vipassana, uh, vipassana, you are taught to take up predominant object. Let's say your primary object here, rising and falling. Then when the primary object is not clear, you're supposed to look for other objects. You're supposed to look for other objects, which is clear to you, in order for that mindfulness and clarity of mind to arise. Whereas in breath, out breath, a lot of times yogis, they're samatha yogis, that what they do is that they take in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath, in, in, all gone. Yeah. The mind comes down. Yes, the mind doesn't go into this one, but actually with that, the mindfulness also starts to drop already. It starts to drop already. Yeah. The momentum of the in-breath, out-breath, actually, during samatha, you have to be alert and clear. The mind has to be alert. Mindfulness has to be there. With the in-breath, out-breath, as you notice, then slowly, the nimitta will becomes clearer and clearer to you. But because of you're so used to taking in-breath, out-breath, so if you come to vipassana, then you may confuse yourself. You may confuse yourself and doing this meditation, especially the Mahasi method. So my strong advice is that when you come for this type of meditation, in the beginning, if you are a beginner, if beginner of a Mahasi method, even though you are a pro in your anapanasati, you have all the jhana and everything. Let's say, so what you should do on a practical aspect is that you keep these two objects, in breath, out breath, and rising and falling aside first. In the beginning, use the abdomen for the purpose of vipassana, for pure vipassana. For just noting without going into all the samatha and all that, just noting the rising and falling. Yeah. Then as you progress later on, as you become more skillful in this vipassana meditation, you can later part go back to your in-breath, out-breath again. This in-breath, out-breath is not going to go away anytime soon. Unless you're dead now, it's still going to be there. So don't worry. So start off with the rising and falling first. Then later, when you're more skillful, you can always go back to the in-breath, out-breath. So because of that time, you can know how to put the samatha meditation aside and just learn how to watch that in-breath, out-breath in the way of pure vipassana, to see the changes in the in-breath, out-breath, and to know what is going on, then the time you're rising and falling and the in-breath, out-breath will give you the same result. Then that time, the in-breath, out-breath, and the rising, falling does not make any much more difference. Because after all, they are just wind element. They are only just rising, they are just only movements. Yeah, they are only just movements. And they all falls under wind element. Yeah. Uh, so, so, so you're not running away from in breath, out breath. Sometimes people thought that just because you do Mahasi method, you don't do in breath, out breath, and so on. That's no lah. Yeah. Finally, all these things are just wind element only. Yeah? Uh, so, so you give rise to the same result. So a lot of times with this type of in-breath, out-breath thing, then there's a lot of like argument, Dhamma debate, Dhamma argument about which one is right, which one is wrong, and which one is good and which one is bad. Sometimes people don't understand. A lot of times people don't understand about this in breath and out breath. Uh, wait. Okay. Now, so there's no point for us actually to go into a lot of all this argument, which one is right and which one is not, because this type of argument has been for generations already, and and sometimes people says that, oh, you are meditating wrong, you're meditating this one, the Buddha didn't teach this rising and falling, you're creating a new type of meditation and so on. No lah, no. It's the wind element, it's there. Yeah. Uh, Finally, when you come to the deeper development, you come to the deeper development, there's no argument of what is in breath, out breath, or rising and falling anymore. Or even the mind also. Because everything goes into very fast arising and passing away. Then the concept of what is rising and falling, what is in breath, out breath, what is the mind, what is the sensation of pain, and so on, all disappear, all gone. So that's why a lot of times I don't go into this type of debate with other people. Liao lan, you know, wasting your energy, wasting your breath only. Uh, uh. So this is the nature of this in breath and out breath. So don't need to go and argue it. If you know that the practice can develop and create more mindfulness and clarity for you, more sharpness, more precision of noting, then more or less the practice is correct. All right. Next question. Okay, the next question. What is the right moment to practice noticing the spine so that sleepiness can be detected? From the bending of the spine till the neck, to avoid sleepiness from slipping in? Or is it not necessary? When is the right moment to practice noticing the spine so that sleepiness can be detected? From bending of the spine till the neck, to avoid sleepiness from slipping in? Or is it not necessary? Yeah. Now, drowsiness, sloth and torpor. Okay. Drowsiness and sloth and torpor it's always good that if you want to pay attention to it, make sure that your mindfulness at least come up to some degree, some good degree to notice this drowsiness and sleepiness. Uh, Of course, when we are talking about when you are healthy and more or less there's no sickness at that moment of time. Uh, if there are sickness during in the practice, there'll be a lot of drowsiness, there'll be a lot of sleepiness, and you cannot avoid those things. So let's say your body is healthy, your body is everything is good, and drowsiness, more or less, they still come in. Not as strong as like in the first few days, but still there. Now, when it's still there, that would be good that for us to learn to pay attention to the sloth and torpor or the sleepiness. Uh, To notice the sleepiness, at least we must know that they are already there. If you do not know they are there, they will drag you into being very sleepy only. If you do not know it in the beginning part of it. So if you know it, if you can detect it, then it'll be very good. At least you begin to acknowledge that it is there. Now, second thing is again here you must learn to accept. You must learn to accept your sleepiness or drowsiness. A lot of us sometimes when we meditate, we do not want to accept all this type of drowsiness. We thought that meditation must be clean and clear. Yeah. Everything must be soon, sleepiness all over already. Then every day must be nice and pleasant. No, no. Or even on the opposite scale is the restless mind, the thinking mind, the rest. Sometimes again, we thought that there will be a lot of thinking mind. First few days, especially that. Also, there are a lot of thinking mind also. Usually, for yogis, is after the sleepiness over first 2 or 3 days or 4 days, then after that, a lot of thinking coming in. A lot of thinking. After that, maybe 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, or 10 days, then the mind starts to settle down. A little much more settled down. Still some thinking, still some sleepiness is still there. Yeah. But that one, it's we learn to manage them, especially at that time, especially right now. You're passing through how many days already over here. Uh, so it would be good that we learn how to deal with a bit of drowsiness, since you asked. Now, when the drowsiness comes in, as I said, you must learn to accept it. Accepting doesn't mean that you just relax, and you don't fight with it and let yourself sleep. Also not right, Uh, that's not what I meant by acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean that just surrender. But acceptance also doesn't mean that we begin to fight with it. We like inside there, oh, how come your sleepiness still come? I thought that I already overcome you just now. I thought I overcome you yesterday. Why are you still here? That's not accepting of the sleepiness. So when the sleepiness comes in, you must learn to accept it as it is. Then when you're able to accept it, then you learn to overcome it in the right manner. Okay? You must learn to overcome them in the right manner. Now, learning to overcome the sleepiness in the right manner is again here, you must employ again mindfulness and mental effort. A lot of mindfulness and mental effort is required. Other words, you got to step up the energy, step up your noting. Uh, uh, so when the sleepiness comes in, then again you pay attention to its characteristic. Take for example, pay attention to its characteristic. How is the sleepiness is like? Is the sleepiness like heavy? Sleepiness like What do you go through this afternoon? Uh, Sleepiness uh, like very something like lights covering off, something like very sinking feeling, something like somebody like you sometimes you notice that your energy begin to drop, that you're noting power begin to less and less and less. Uh, these are all characteristic of sleepiness when it comes in. Uh, when it comes in one way or another, it comes in this way or another. Or sometimes when the sleepiness comes in, it comes in also with the movement. Like what your question here is like the movement of the spine, the bending of the spine, which is part of as how it comes into you. Uh, uh, uh. So all these things has to be noted if you can. Other words, like for example, if you are sleepy, you note sleepy, 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 and you see how the nature of the mind is become dark, become heavy, some become heavier, 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 until you turn off everything. Then not if you turn off everything, then turn it on again. And then not again. Not. Sometimes you become clear again. Sometimes it clear again, then it comes again, as if like another wave of it come, and then you're not clear, come. But, this is how we pay attention to the sleepiness. And sleepiness, it's an object for vipassana because sleepiness occurs in the present moment. Sleepiness has got its characteristic. Other words, sleepiness also in a deeper aspect of sleepiness, they are also impermanent. They are also changing, arising, passing away also. So pay attention to them. After all, every retreat you come, it's going to be there. No, it's not going to go over anytime soon. So deal with it. Pay attention to it, how it's characteristic. Sometimes if you notice the sleepiness comes in and as the body starts bending or your head starts bending forward or the sideways, then pay attention to it exactly as it is. Uh, you are not here to try to get rid of sleepiness. Sleepiness will go away if your mindfulness starts to increase from the behind. But while you're noting your object, you're noticing the sleepiness, you're noticing the bending and so on, then you are re-arousing the sleep, you re-arousing the mindfulness again. And as the mindfulness starts to build up, then it overcomes the sleepiness. Okay? Not trying to suppress the sleepiness, not trying to suppress even like the thinking mind also. It's about learning to accept them as they are. So when you're able to accept them as they are, then you find that you are not so forceful anymore. You still note clearly, but you're not like forcing your mind into getting rid of it. So this is one way. You pay attention to how it bends. Pay attention to how it goes forward a little bit. Sometimes you go a little bit more. Sometimes you go under 45 degree. You there that time not bending, 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 bending. Heavy, 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 sleepy, 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 sleepy. Drowsy, drowsy, drowsy. Then note them. Uh, uh, or sometimes, if you do not want to use that way of noting, then put the at least you know that sleepiness is there. But this time, you bring yourself noting the sitting and touching. Use the sitting and touching, which can be very helpful for the overcoming the sleepiness. Then here we arouse the mindfulness and the mental effort through another object rather than actually looking at it directly. So note the sitting and touching. So how do you note it? So bring your attention back again to the touching aspect. Touching, touching, touching. And this time, notice it a bit faster. touching. Then sometimes there's as I said yesterday, you notice the characteristic as hard or soft or warm or cold. Just pick one or two characteristic will do. Once you pick up those characteristics, then you move on to the next object. Say here again is your buttock. Again, here you notice sitting. Then try to not pick up a sensation or two. Then again, you go to the left buttock. So you notice that then. So you go a little bit more faster. So you go a bit more faster, or you change it clockwise, or you do it anti-clockwise. Or you change completely like the object itself. Say, for example, you notice the touching. You notice the touching. Then you notice the whole body sitting. Also can. You notice the whole body sitting. Sitting. Also, okay. Sometimes we notice as the mindfulness, as the sleepiness is still there. Sometimes again we change different object. Sometimes we'll begin to take up, some people may feel the lips that are touching also, they can feel something. Sometimes the knees that's touching onto the cushion, they could feel something, the right knee, left knee. So again, they completely change another object. So when you change to totally new object, your mind has to work for it, work to notice its characteristic. Then, because you work for it, mindfulness and effort begin to arouse from the background. Then you begin the more and more alert. So if you can do that, then it's well and good until you overcome the sleepiness. Yeah. Yeah. So there are a number of ways how we can overcome the sleepiness while we are sitting. Usually in the walking, there's less sleepiness, usually. But nevertheless, once in a while, it can come in. During in the walking, if there you encounter some degree of drowsiness, then again here you must learn to change your pace. Sometimes you'll go a little bit faster or you go a little bit slower, depending on the circumstances. Say for example, if you're already slow already, lifting, pushing, you do very slow, but then you feel that wow, it's still getting tired and the mind is not clear. At that time, you do a little bit faster. You do a bit faster in order just to change the speed a little bit, then things will be much more clearer. Or sometimes you are quite fast, maybe one phase, then you feel a bit tired, then try go a little bit slower and see whether it picks up or not. Sometimes because you pay attention to it more clearly, then energy arises, then it becomes clear. Uh, so something like that on the sleepiness, on the drowsiness. So as the question, as you said, that if you're bending and noticing, then it happens, pay attention to it. It's perfectly all right. Okay? All right. Next question. Okay, next question. During sitting meditation, when switching from rising, falling to sitting, touching, I didn't feel much effect. Can we switch to touching of palms and increase the sensation by rubbing lightly on the skin? If it's still not much effect, can we rub harder? So you want to switch from rising to fall, to rising, falling to sitting and touching because you still don't feel much effect. Can we switch to touching of palms and increase the sensation by rubbing lightly on the skin? If it's still not much effect, can we rub harder? First of all, no need to rub harder. Just rub enough. Not to say we discourage you or encourage you to rub the hands No, there will be times. When you do sitting and touching, then the feeling of the hands may not be so clear. May not be so clear. So once in a while, if it's not that clear, then rub a little bit, rub a little bit. Or sometimes if your hands are doing on your knees let's say, or on the thighs then you rub a little bit. It's okay. You can rub a little bit. Uh, uh, so when you rub a little bit, when you feel it a little bit, as long as you can able to notice something, then after that you stop it. You notice the sensation of warm or cold or pressure that's happening there. Then it's fine, not a problem. Especially like just now, the earlier question is on the sleepiness. Then that sleepiness, usually the mind not so clear. So when it's not so clear, then that time, then the rubbing a little bit can be helpful. It can be helpful. Uh, there will be other times that even when you are not sleepy, when you're not sleepy, also at times the mind is lacking of mindfulness. When it's lacking of mindfulness, although it's quite alert, but it's lacking of that mindfulness and clarity of noting, then you pay attention to it, nothing much. You pay attention to it, nothing much. So once in a while, you rub it a little bit just to feel some sensation. This sitting and touching, sitting and touching, they are not so easy in the beginning part of the development, especially if the mindfulness when it's not strong. This is because that this sitting and touching, they are stationary object. They are not moving object. A moving object is easier for the yogi to pick up. A stationary object here, it's quite um, it's quite difficult for a yogi to pick up in the beginning. But as the mindfulness picks up, then you become more skillful in this anyway. There are places, there are places in Burma, in Myanmar, that the main primary object of meditation is this sitting and touching, not the in-breath, out-breath. And it's correct also. It's perfectly all right. It's a sitting and touching. I think there's one center in Yangon, not too far from Mahasi main center also. Not too far away, maybe about 10-15 minutes car distance only. Also not so far away. So what I do not know much of what they do, but I know that you have to stand for 1 hour. Noticing sensation of your leg, noticing sensation of your body, and just stand there. Just like you sit 1 hour, you stand 1 hour. It's all about training only. It's all about training. You sit there or you stand there, you stand for 1 hour. Don't try this, if you are not used to it. You can get very, if you're not used to it, it's just like you're beginning to learn to sit for 1 hour. Then there'll be a lot of pain, a little bit of aches, and a lot of you cannot tahan. But as you learn actually to do it again and again, it's just like sitting meditation. Then you can able to prolong your time and even to stand there for 1 hour without moving. So they stand there and pay attention to the sensation of the body, which is good. It's another way. Sometimes, like in the when things are not clear, when you sit down, for example, you notice you're sitting and touching, not clear. You try this, try that, not clear. Then might as well get up lah. Get up from the sitting for a while. That time, it is necessary for you to get up. Because after all, that sitting is not producing any much of mindfulness. So you try this, you try that after a few minutes or 1 minute, after 5 minutes or 10 minutes are still not there yet. Or sometimes you feel a bit sleepy, you try to note this, note that, not sitting, touching, not working, for today, let's say. Then get up and walk. Or get up and do standing meditation. Used to be that in yogis, sometimes you deal with the sleepiness and you cannot take it. Then they get up and stand, noticing standing, standing, standing. I think it's better with the eyes open. If not, then with the eye closed, you get sleepy in the standing. When you fall, you more jialat. You fall, you drop further. At least you're sitting, you drop a little bit. It's still there. But it's better to keep the eyes open a little bit. Don't look at anything. Then this time, watch the sensation of pulling, of this one, or even sometimes rising and falling also. And note the sensation of the hips or the tightness. Sometimes you note the sleepiness is still around the corner and it makes the body bend a little bit. Then take notice of it also. Possible. Or if you don't want to do this one, then you do a bit of mindful walking. Make sure that you walk up and down, right step, left step, or lifting, dropping, just to make sure that you're at least to make your mind more and the body a little bit more active. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes this sleepiness can be quite difficult to overcome. Other words, stubborn. You try to deal with them. Maybe yesterday you can do it, but today you use your yesterday's kung fu. You use your yesterday's method that you done it. How come today don't work one? How come still like that cannot work one? Then again, you find another way. When I was meditating here when I was younger. At that time, I got my notebook. I wrote down all my method of how I overcome my sleepiness. So many ways. So many ways. How to overcome the sleepiness because I meditate for a long period of time. So every day I got sleepiness. So might as well use and go and discover ways of how to overcome all this problem, rather than get fed up with it, other than get you don't accept it and so on. I mean, I'm accepting it. It's going to come after lunch. Whether it's going to come in the afternoon and sometimes it's going to come in the morning also. I accept it. I'm okay with it. As long as you come, I got ways to overcome you. Then over time, I begin to pick up a lot of techniques. Nowadays also, I forgot what I did already. I know I did all those things. Then record it a little bit. Sometimes this doesn't work. Then use another method. This doesn't work, use another method. Like sometimes in the past, I say, like when I was young, I watched this Kung Fu movie. Then they fight with the villain, the master or the master's disciple fight with the villain. When they fight, then the master will tell the disciple, you change another method. Then they change another method from tiger method to become a lion method. Then they fight. And then after fight cannot finish, then the master will think, change again. Jackie Chan movie. Then they fight. And then until you win the villain. Yeah. So do the same thing. So you try this method, tak boleh, then you try another method, tak boleh, you try this, try that, try this, try until it works. Then as you begin to work, it begins to familiarize with your different methods. Then also as the mindfulness pick up, then when the mindfulness pick up to a much more substantial level, then when you deal with the sleepiness is on a different degree and this time. All you need to do is, hey, you are here. Then it's out already. Then the sleepiness already gone. All you need to do is just watch it. See it only. Then it's already gone. Can you do it right now? Cannot yet. Because why? It hasn't come to a substantial level of mindfulness of that continuing or the deeper aspect of mindfulness. That's why, as I said, even like your thinking, Like before all this thinking arises, you already aware of that thinking and then it already subsides. So too, the same thing, you can do it for their sleepiness or drowsiness also. When it comes in, the moment it comes in, only you already aware of it. Or even it spark up a little bit of drop, the energy starts to drop, a bit of dropping already. The mind already detected that the energy is dropping already. Then that time, you already aware of it, that this time drowsiness is really creeping in already. By the time you notice it, the mindfulness overcome it, they overcome. So you don't have to use sitting, touching lah, getting up lah, this lah, that lah, you know. So that's where the mindfulness pick up. So in the beginning, before the mindfulness pick up so much, then you have to try different method here and there. Yeah. As long as you don't As long as you don't like when the sleepiness come in, when you start bending, you don't ngeng kick, you know, you slowly try to squeeze the body, and that is not good. That is not the way how we do it. That is not the way how Vipassana do it. Sometimes we paise, you know, we our face here. We don't want to you see other yogis look at me. How come I keep on like that? Then very very not nice to look at. And then you think about like that. I cannot, I must like that. And then all this your pride all inside already. Yeah, that is not very good. So you must see things as they are rather than what you think it should be. Huh? Okay, next question. Now this question is from the um, from somebody online. Then it come over. The first three is from the yogis just now. All right. Next question. There are two parts of it. A, read somewhere. Any good deeds done without the intention to end the cycle of birth and rebirth, no matter how hard you strive, you will not reach this goal. Okay, A. Any good deeds done without intention to end the cycle of birth and rebirth, no matter how hard you strive, will not reach the final goal. Okay. B. Someone said, what is more important is the process of purification. The final goal is not that important, or rather, it will come eventually, even though you don't aim for it. Okay? What is more important is the process of purification. The final goal is not that important, or rather, it will come eventually, even though you don't aim for it. Please comment on the above statement. All right. Let's go the first one. Any good deeds done without intention to end the cycle of birth and rebirth, no matter how hard you strive, will not reach this goal. In a way, it's true. In a way, it's true. Because if you don't aim for it to end the cycle of birth and rebirth, then your good deeds will still be good deeds. Your still good deeds will still produce good result for you, except the end of cycle of birth and rebirth. Let's say we are not in the Buddha Sasana right now. There's no Buddha Sasana right now. There's no teachings of the Buddha right now. We do not know about ending of rebirth. We do not know there's an end of death also. Yeah. So, but then somehow innate in us, we know how to do a lot of good deeds. Maybe in your past life, you bring it over into this life, but this life, there's no Buddha Sasana. There's no teachings of the Buddha. But you still know how to do a lot of good deeds. And you do tremendous, a lot of amount of good deeds. And yet, you still cannot go, you just cannot able to attain a liberation. You cannot. Yeah. Only when the Buddha gave the talk on the Four Noble Truths and subsequently with all the suttas and all that, then only beings realize that there's such a thing as ending of cycle and birth and rebirth. They know that the cycle of birth and rebirth carries a lot of suffering, untold suffering, unimaginable form of suffering. So we strive to end this one. So other words, the intention to end the cycle of birth and rebirth has to be there for you. And it has to be like clear to you. Not idang me punyang nibbana sa pachayo hotu. And then you follow like a parrot only. Yeah. Yeah. May my merits be a condition for the realization of nibbana. Yeah. Say for example, so a lot of times people just follow what the monks say only. But does it really goes into the heart? Not yet. Although you verbally say only, but hasn't touched the heart yet. Then other times you ask them, wait, you want the end of cycle of birth and rebirth? My. What for? Life song. What for? It's the end of cycle of birth and rebirth. And then where you will go? Go and retreat. Go meditate. The one at home so nice. What for? I want to come for retreat. Yeah. So in other words, they say only, but hasn't really touched into their heart. They really haven't deepened into the heart yet. So with that also actually, they're not going to go much further. All you need to do, when you have begun to understand the Dhamma better, when you begin to understand the Dhamma better, then as the faith develops in you, that is where it's going to make a difference. It's like when you make the intention to be free from this cycle of birth and rebirth, then your whole aim of all your deeds that you have done, then it begins to for that purpose already, for that final goal already. Is all you need to do is just to steer it to that direction. All your deeds from your past lives also included. All your good deeds becomes a good condition for you to strive. Other words, it's just like this. If you don't do any good deeds, then what will happen is that your boat, let's say you are in a big ocean, then your boat is this small, like a sampan or sampan only, If they don't do much good deeds, your boat is so small only. All the wave come in, all the everything come in, you tenggelam. You go down, you sink. Yeah, you sink. But when you do a lot of good deeds, the boat become bigger into a big ship, into a mighty ship, into such a big one. And all the waves that come in, tsunami come in also, you don't topple also because you build up in such a big ship. But that big ship do not know where to go. You just go around the ocean and like when you take the cruise to nowhere. You go around the ocean only. There's no destination B. Cruise to nowhere, you go, and then you come back to the same port again. You go and then you come back to the same port again. Then in our lives, then what happened is that when you develop that good deeds, then when you begin to aim for it, then that means, other words, you steer the ship, no matter how big they are, then this time it will starts to direct you to that final goal. Slowly lah, but malaya lah. At least the steering for that path is there. Yeah. So that will be good because you follow the teachings of the Buddha. Now, there are people also, there are people also, like for example, you do a lot of good deeds. In other words, the boat is very big. uh, but you don't want to get out of samsara. You want to get into, I think, the sixth heaven is very nice. Okay, let's say lah, let's say the sixth heaven is very nice. So you steer towards it. You also will reach it also because of your good deeds that you have done so much. Now, whichever devas ram that you want to go, first ram, second ram, third, fourth, fifth ram, you can choose as you like. You still can go there too after your death if you do a lot of good deeds, tremendous amount of good deeds. So a lot of people actually, even in the Buddhist community, they do a lot of good deeds, but they want to reborn in the happier planes of existence, not nibbana. uh, not nibbana, happier planes of existence. Yes, uh, uh, some people, some people says that, oh, maybe, when I reborn in a better plane of existence, there I can practice law. Wow. You think there you get sasana for you? Over there, maybe it's all about enjoyment only. And the enjoyment is much more than what we have in all this like little pleasure that what we have as a human world. Their enjoyment, all you need to see and touch and feel, the pleasure is totally different. Here, we all are, our enjoyment is very rough compared, like for example, human and compared to the to the animals. And they eat all kinds of, let's say, a lion and all that. They get very raw and every fermented thing, all touching in there. So they still can eat. We cannot do that. So too when we come to a deva world, it's different. Deva world is so much more refined. So you're not going to meditate anytime soon. Uh, so, so if you have do a lot of good deeds, so without that intention of getting it out of cycle of birth and rebirth, then you won't go out from it. And even if you think about it, but if it doesn't go into the heart, deep into the heart that you really want to strive for it, then of course things will not be that fast now. Things will be very slow. Anyway, this is what I'm trying to say. You will not reach the final goal. Now, the second one, what is more important? What is more important in the process of purification? The final goal is not that important. Rather, it will come eventually, even if you don't aim for it. No, in the process of purification, like what we are doing over here, you actually must know why what is the end result of this meditation. The end result of this meditation is the realization of Nibbana. And it's only one result only. But while we are meditating, we don't get obsessive with the thoughts, become too obsessed with the thoughts. Then you meditate a little bit, rising, falling, enlighten, boy. Rising, falling, is that enlightenment? Rising, falling, then the mind gets calm a bit, enlightenment. No lah. Become too obsessive with the idea of enlightenment. And then that type of obsession with that idea can be a problem, can be a hindrance for your development, because after all, they are concepts. So what you should do is that this type of concept, idea, you put it aside while you are meditating. But nevertheless, once in a while, you recall that what is the whole purpose of this meditation? You bring it up to your mind and you're aware of it. And you're aware of it, then while you're meditating, you put it aside and just note the sitting, touching, and all that thing. Eventually, these things will lead you to enlightenment because you are already steered the rudder to the direction already. So while you're doing it, in the process, you have to maintain the ship lah. You have to clean up the ship. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to make sure the engine is keep working. You put the direction only, then no maintenance pun tak boleh. Make sure that you keep working on it. Don't worry about the steering. Where is direction? The direction already set the course already. So you have to keep on maintaining right now. So this is what I meant over here. That once you set the direction, now you keep on working and working and working for it. So when you work for it, then eventually it will arrive to the destination. Yeah. So other words, more or less, you already aim for it. You already aim for that enlightenment. Yeah. But then when we do not know. Some people, when it comes to this enlightenment thing, they give themselves maybe by 10 years' time. Yeah. By before at least this human life die as at least as a sotapanna, at least. Ya kasih. The aim is there. It's not just only intention, but the intention that comes with a duration of time. Yeah. But also we see that those in the sutta also. We see that things in the sutta too. Yeah. But anyway, what is important is that when you notice and you practice, you put all the thinking aside about enlightenment. You already aim for it, well and good. Now is the time for you to just keep practicing it. Yeah? So, okay, we'll stop here for tonight. Yeah? That's all. We continue the talk on Monday again. Huh? Okay, we share merits. Idang me bawanang nibbanasa pachayo hotu. May my mental cultivation be a condition for the realization of Nibbana. Imang no punya bagang sabba satanang dema. We share these merits with our departed ones, with all beings and all the devas. Sabbe satta sukhi hontu anumodantu. May all beings be happy. May they rejoice in these merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.